Jasmine, thanks for joining us today here with the Digital Missionaries and the Gain channel. And I wanted to chat with you today a little bit about branding and design. So maybe you could fill us in on what you do for work and what your experience is in those areas.
Sure. So I am a graphic designer. I've run my own business off and on since I graduated uni about over 10 years ago now. So at the moment, I'm running a design business called The Wild now, and I specialize in website and branding, but I've pretty much done everything.
Yeah, awesome. So today we're really making this training video for digital missionaries who are interested in maybe having some sort of an online presence themselves, or maybe they already run the church YouTube channel or Instagram page or social media page of some sort. And so I really wanted to just chat with a branding or a design expert here to see if there's anything we can uncover that might help people in this space. Maybe we could start with, why is it that good design is important at all? Why should we put any effort into design?
Yeah, I think design is very important. You might not think that it is that important if you're not a visual person, but a lot of us are visual people. And if you think, I always use the example of going to a restaurant, and if you look at the exterior of the restaurant and it's like run down, the sign's broken, it's all dark inside and things like that, you're not going to, I guess, give it a chance sometimes, because you just kind of think that's going to reflect on the food, the quality of the experience inside. So I always think of branding as kind of that. It's like your representation of the experience and the things you're going to experience with the business of the church in this example, and the ministry. It kind of reflects the quality of what you're going to get out of it. So I think even if you're not a visual person, those things still impact on your expectations.
Yeah, all right. So where would somebody get started then? If somebody has an Instagram channel or a church Facebook page or some sort, what's the best place to start?
It really depends on who you're trying to target and what you're trying to get out of your Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. I always like to think of design as communicating something to a certain person. So I think the first place to start is to really think about who you're trying to attract, and then that will I guess change or decide on what sort of design you're going to want to go for. Like if you're wanting to start a kids ministry, obviously that's going to be a lot more of a playful design than, say, if you're targeting an older generation. And that also determines what platforms you're going to want to be on. So if you're targeting teens and things like that, thinking about TikTok, Instagram, whereas an older audience would be probably more likely to be on Facebook. So
yeah, I think that's really important. I have seen a lot of ministries in the last few years that their branding and their design doesn't necessarily match the audience they're targeting. They didn't really spend the time thinking about who their ministry was trying to reach. They just assumed that everything or anything would be good for everyone, rather than actually thinking about who they're targeting. And so, yeah, that sort of goes back to a bit of marketing 101, like who is your product for, who are you trying to target, and what are they thinking when they look at your brand? So,
yeah. And I think important to think about too is you're not trying to capture everyone's attention. If you did, that's basically impossible. Something is not going to be accessible and targeting for everyone, I think. So you might feel like you're alienating certain people with a certain design, but that again goes to, you've got to decide who you're targeting, because it's very difficult to target everyone. And I think you can spread yourself too thinly if you try and target everyone. So yeah, I think it's really important to think about who you're trying to target in design, but also in your content.
Yeah, there's the theory of 1,000 true fans. I think it's a Simon Sinek book where it talks about if you have a core group of people who are wholly committed to your brand. It's far better to have that than many people who are slightly interested or have seen it before.
Yeah.
And they will essentially bring more audience to the show.
Yeah, that's right. Because if they're enjoying it, they're going to want to share it.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're just there because they're following and like don't really engage with it, they're not going to share it.
Yeah. What software would you recommend for a beginner? I know I've got the Adobe suite, which is terribly expensive and far too complex for a simple fellow like me. What other options are there for design software?
Yeah, Adobe is good, but yeah, as you say, there's a lot of functionality, and if you don't use it, it's a big cost. It's not really essential. So I would say Canva is a great place to start. It's online and it's free. You can get a paid version that gives you a little bit more options and flexibility, but yeah, Canva is a really good place to start. There's also Adobe XD. I think you still have to pay for that. I don't think, or is it free? I can't remember now. I'm going to just quickly Google that.
And so while you're doing that, Canva, is that just canva.com? Is that very simplified?
Yeah, canva.com.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of functions on there that you can use, a lot of templates. I would say about the templates, if you're just solely using the templates, you can get a little bit lost in the sea of everybody else using those templates. So it is still good to try and customize the designs if you're using those.
Yep.
Yeah, XD is not free.
Mm-hmm. And what would you do on XD that you don't do in, say, Illustrator or Photoshop or Canva?
So XD, I would say, is more simple. It's on par with Canva, but there's just a little bit more things that you can do with it. So yeah, if you kind of want that next step up, but not the full Adobe software, that's probably a good one for doing like Instagram posts and things like that.
Yeah. So different people are going to have different budgets and different levels of potential for getting good at software. At what point do you think that somebody should give up and start outsourcing?
I think if it's taking you all day to do like a few designs, and then you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, I don't really actually like that, then you should outsource it. Yeah. I guess you just got to weigh up the cost of like how long it's taking you versus if you could just pay someone and you have it and it's done and it looks good. Yeah. If you've got a little bit of budget, I think it's worth outsourcing.
So I guess here's a happy medium. I have spent all day doing things that I don't like at the end of the day. And I found one website, it's called Fiverr. And the original idea of the website Fiverr, for those who don't know, is that you can pay for $5 for anything that people online around the world would like to do for $5. And they sort of offer their services and you sort of find somebody you're happy with and then you offer them the job. It started off at $5, but of course, if you want it in a hurry, it's $10. And if you want a premium version, it's $15, $20, $30. So it's really blown out now, but there is still many people on there selling their services for $5. So that's a good idea. What other websites do you know of where people might be able to outsource if they don't know somebody who's willing to help them?
In terms of like buying templates and things, there's a few. So there's Creative Market, that's a really good one. There's also Envato, what's it called? I think it's just Envato. And you Envato Toolkit, so you can, or Elements maybe. I think Elements. So you can get a subscription to that and then you can just download resources and templates and things like that. But yeah, Creative Market's a good one. You can also find stuff on Etsy if you want pre-made templates that are a little bit different to what's on Canva. In terms of outsourcing, Facebook, you can often find people, or Gumtree, people wanting to exchange like time for something.
Yeah.
Just people starting out.
another website I've used is called Freelancer. And so
Yeah.
recently I've needed just a couple simple logo ideas for some ministries, and I basically listed a job on Freelancer and I just said $10. And then basically people from around the world can compete for that $10 by submitting their designs, and then you get to pick a winner at the end of the day. So I found that to be fairly fruitful in the range of suggestions that I get back from different designers around the world.
Yeah, there's a few other logo type of ones, but I can't think of them because obviously I don't use them.
Why not?
99 Designs is another
99 Designs, yeah.
common one. Yeah.
And I guess I'd like to know what your favorite resources or places to go for inspiration are when it comes to looking for ideas, because I guess writers have writer's block and designers would have some sort of design block at some stage. So where would you go to get more inspiration?
I find a lot of inspiration on Pinterest, just because it's kind of like a visual search engine. So any keyword, you can usually find something that's going to spark a bit of creativity. I also spend a lot of time on Dribble. That's kind of more for illustrations and things like that. There's Behance. Those are kind of places where designers will upload their portfolio sort of pieces. So if you're
sorry, let's go back. That one's called Dribble. I've never heard of that one.
Dribble.
Dribble with 3 B's. I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good one if you're trying to develop a logo or you want some like illustration type things that you just want a little bit of inspo. Yep. There's also a fair bit of web stuff on there. Yeah.
And then Behance is somewhat related to Adobe, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's like a marketplace for designs or people just showing off their projects. Is that correct?
Yeah,
sort of like
it's kind of a portfolio type thing. Also, as I was saying, creative market, that can often give you a bit of inspiration. So if you don't want to buy the thing, you can kind of just get a bit of inspiration. But yeah, those are the main places. And Instagram's good because you can search different keywords and things and find different accounts.
So the other unique thing I came across, maybe not resources for usefulness, but simply for interest's sake, there's actually a podcast called 99% Invisible that some people might be interested in listening to. Have you ever listened to that one?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
And so they talk through different design throughout time and the way that things came to be because of their design. So there's, for example, an episode about the noise absorbing tiles on the inside of churches so that music sounds better, but the church still looks good. Just lots of interesting stories about why the world is designed the way it is.
Yeah, there's heaps of good podcasts, heaps of design ones.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, I don't know if you want people to, but if they were to find you on Instagram or get in touch with you, where would they find you?
Instagram, I'm at The Wild Now. And yeah, that's probably where I hang out the most.
The best spot. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks heaps for your time, Jasmine. And hopefully this has given a few extra resources for people interested in design and branding.
Yep, no worries.